Andrew here to raise your awareness. If you have anxiety, nervousness, if you're a speaker, if you're just crazy nervous around people or events or anything like that, this video is for you because I want to unlock your personality. Because if you don't have your true personality on, if you don't embody who you really are, then it leaks into everything else that you do. So in the business world, where I was and where I still am, but in the beginning of the business world, I thought that I had to be this cold, cutthroat, serious business person, and you do not have to be like that, because if you're this cold, perfect person, that person isn't liked. It doesn't belong anywhere, because you're cold. You know, you don't get along with anyone because you have to worry about everything that you say. I was so meticulous about everything that I had to say, even in emails. You don't have to do that. So when you inhibit who you really are, or your personality, inhibit literally means to suppress, to stop even. And this can happen. And what happens when you do that is stutters happen. Things like your physical appearance starts to happen because you've totally shut down. So in meetings and in events and things like that, I was totally worried about what people were thinking about me. And that's what happens when you lock up your personality. So I did this for a while, and you don't have to do that. So how to combat this inhibited personality that was suppressed, that wasn't my creative self, that wasn't, funny or anything like that. Just checking the trail marker here. I'm on the Douglas Spring Trail. I just headed 3 miles that way, and there is no spring. So there's no spring. It's November, so don't come here in November and expect a big spring, because there isn't one. But because I was gonna have this awesome backdrop back here, but we still got an awesome backdrop because there's 1,000 different saguaros everywhere, and this trail is amazing. Unlocking your personality, that's what we're here for. So there's a few things that you can do. So when going to events, before I would go to events, you want to be comfortable at these events. So before you go into the event, expect that you've done this 1,000 times, right? So if you've done something 1,000 times, there's no need to be worried. There's no need to expect anything different because you've already done it 1,000 times. So when you go to these events, expect that you're going to a friend's house that you've been to 1,000 times so you can be your true self around. Maybe you're going to your parents' house, right? So if there's nothing to worry about at these events, then you can totally let that worry and anxiety just totally down. Because guess what? People are going to judge you no matter what, no matter who you are. If you're a drunk or if you're successful, they're still going to judge you. Either way, so you might as well be yourself around these people, because people are hardwired for judgment. Why do people love babies? Because they're totally themselves, right? They could totally be themselves around people. They're the best salesmen in the world. They cry, they only need like 2 or 3 things. They need food, to be held, to be changed. And that's how babies work. So be a baby. But I mean, kind of be a baby. So don't be so inhibited that you suppress yourself completely, because all you're doing is overcorrecting yourself. And when you overcorrect yourself 100%, you're just totally shut down. You don't even speak anymore. And that's what happens to some people. As a child, you're told not to act up because you're being bad, or your attitude. And that can follow you the rest of your life. So what you can do is practice disinhibitation. Disinhibitation is the opposite of inhibited. So if you're disinhibited, that means you're speaking louder, right? So you've got, hey guys. Hello. Oh. So if you're so you can practice disinhibitation, right? So if you're disinhibited, you're doing the opposite of inhibited. So if you're disinhibited, you're doing the opposite of inhibited. right? So you could do things like speaking louder, raise the volume of your voice, like physically raise it. You don't have to scream at people, but raise the volume of your voice. So that way the confidence starts to come out. It's the same reason why if you're at the gym, you start to lift more weights because you're like, ugh, ugh. Well, that's the same thing for inhibited personalities. So you can do that, and then over time, you'll start to gain that confidence back and start to get your real personality back. The reason why the inhibited happens is because you hear with your ears, right? So people hear with their ears and they overcorrect themselves. That's why a lot of deaf people, they can't talk, they can't speak unless they have some kind of a tutor, but they can't hear themselves, so they can't correct themselves. So don't suppress it so much. There has to be a healthy medium right in the middle. So somewhere between inhibited and disinhibited. You know, you don't have to go around being so disinhibited that you punch everybody in the face that disagrees with you, but have a healthy inhibited and disinhibited. So another thing you can do is if you're inhibited or if you're suppressing your real creative personality, the one that God made you perfect in, is to care less. Just care less about what people think because they're gonna judge you anyway. No matter what, you could be rich, successful, you could be poor, homeless, they're going to judge you, I promise you. People are just wired that way. So you might as well be yourself because you gotta live with yourself the rest of your life. The other thing you can do is if you have a spouse, tell them confidently that you love them. Every day. And the last thing you can do is compliment people genuinely. Like, Joe, I really love that idea. You're starting to be more outspoken, and then you can unlock that personality. So I'm here at the end of the trail. Glad I could take you guys with. Hopefully next time there's a spring. If you want to keep raising your awareness, go ahead and like this channel, like this video, and subscribe to this channel. We keep bringing you guys along, and we'll see you on the next one.